Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the few weeks of nice microphone and nice camera we had, because it's back to the old webcam in the MacBook setup for the next week or so. I'm traveling to hang out with family. The challenge continues, but this is how we're going to be recording things. I spent today just trying to learn about WaveShaper. This is the plugin I've been using for clipping, and I've used it a few times without really understanding how it worked, so I watched some tutorials and then also found the Melda guide to it, which definitely has more information than I need, or I guess probably not that I need, but more than I wanted. I was really hoping it would be a shorter guide to read through, but I do think this will be a really helpful thing for me to read through, and I've read a few parts of it that were just like to answer some questions I had, and I'm hoping to get through it maybe on the plane tomorrow. The way I had been using the plugin though was basically I would just put it on the channel and then I would just turn up the input here until I saw something here. And then I assumed that was getting clipped. And you can see it is getting clipped here. If I turn this back off, similar sort of wave, not clipping in that environment. So this does the job, but it also fills up this R bar, and I was confused what that R bar was, so that was the main thing I pulled this up for. And the R meter here is listed as showing gain reduction for each channel, so negative values running down from the top means the compression or limiting is occurring. The lower the value, the stronger the effect. For maximum transparency, you try to achieve the least amount of gain reduction. It sounded like this wasn't really as much clipping as it was limiting, but what in the videos I watched, what they recommended doing, or kind of how they used the plugin, was to put an extra node on the channel, and then you can move this around. And basically, this graph here, this axis of the graph, this is the sound coming in to the channel. So you can see it represented by this bar. As this bar jumps around, that's how loud the sound is. So at this moment in the oscilloscope, we are peaking at somewhere around -13 or so. And this is the output. We're basically, it's coming in at -13 and it's going out at -12.6. So pretty close. If I were to turn this to here, now sounds that come in at -14 go out at -3. And so you get a lot more clipping effects happening here. Notably, this creates similar wave shapes in the oscilloscope to just turning up the input knob and having it bang off the top, but it doesn't fill up the R bar. So I don't think we actually have any limiting happening here. It's actually clipping. The thing that was most fascinating to me was, obviously I can just kind of like put this up at the top here, and then you get that same like compressed clipped sound. You can pull it all down here, clip the whole thing, make it super loud. But interestingly, you can also add a node here and pull it down. And if you take this out, so you just understand this is not this effect happening. If you do this, it creates like a gate effect, because it's taking sounds that come in at -35 and outputting silence. And the further up you pull this, now at -25, it's outputting silence. So there's a whole kind of like underside as it comes off the transient, it just quickly hits like a gate basically. Fascinating effect. And the inverse is even more fascinating, where you take the in of silence and boost it to -27 or whatever up here. It creates artificial noise. And you could turn it down and make it a little more subtle. And I don't know, there's some really cool rhythms in there you could probably do things with, and you can combine the effects. Or do like... Interestingly enough, this is creating limiting. So there's still things I kind of don't understand. Why that's creating limiting. I guess it's creating limiting because it's taking the incoming signal and turning it down, versus this is taking the incoming signal and turning it up, which is why when I turn up the input, it gets gain reduction. But when I do it this way, it also creates clipping without creating gain reduction. So I guess that's starting to make sense here. Interestingly enough, if you're using this plugin, I found that the logarithmic mode has a lot less distortion than other modes. So Seems like linear and logarithmic are the least, but logarithmic seems to be the least. Cool tool. Excited to see how I get to use this one in the future. That's all we have time for today, though. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.